What's up, folks? Today I give you a game that pays tribute to old school shooters, a game filled with guts, bullets, and tons of references. This is Ion Fury, developed by 3D Realms, the company who brought us some great titles such as Shadow Warrior. Ion Fury is a blend of old school shooters with some of today's mechanics. I was provided a code from the devs, but I do have an Xbox One code for giveaway, so just comment below and you'll be entered. I'll reach out to the winner in a week's time. As usual, if you like this video, why not hit the subscribe button? Is Ion Fury worth $25? Well, I'm about to tell you. My name is Tanner and this is For Your Money, a different kind of review. Ion Fury takes place in a world that resembles something, in my opinion, like Blade Runner mixed with Escape from New York, but with a tad darker tone. Dr. Jadis Haskell has used his knowledge to create cybernetic humans whose goal is to cause havoc across the city of DC, and cause havoc they did. You play as Shelly, a badass corporal who leads the Domestic Task Force, a force dedicated to stopping these augmented bozos from breaking the law. As you can imagine, days in the city are rough. Shelly was promoted to the leader just after 6 months. Why? Because her team was killed. Now trying to knock one back after a rough day, her drinking time is interrupted by an explosion set off by Haskell's cult of ne'er-do-wells, causing her drink to spill. Now pissed off beyond words, she's ready to kill everything in her path just to make it to Haskell so he'd wish he'd never started this war. Old school shooters were never much for storytelling, but that's fine. It's meant to be fun from all angles. The story is rather simple, sure, but it's about the over-the-top cheese with a focus on the gunplay of the game, which is nothing short of a classic Doom or Wolfenstein with an upgrade. The combat of Ion Fury is nothing short of run and gun like hell with loads of gore, guns, and secrets. This game is a love letter to all old school shooters from Wolfenstein to Duke Nukem. Ion Fury adds a couple features that are absent in these types of shooters, and that's the jump button and free look aiming. Now sure, free look aiming came into play in 1992, but still it's a game changer, calling for you to sharpen your skills and batten down the hatches for some intense battles with anywhere from 5 to 25 enemies all blasting you at once. It's a thrill ride. Ion Fury reminds me why I prefer this type of run and gun over many shooters today, and that's because the only tactic you need to learn is to hit your shots and dodge the onslaught of incoming bullets. And sometimes it's going to feel like you're playing a first-person shooter equivalent to Ikaruga, and that is one of the best compliments I can give. 3D Realms has always been a company that comes to mind when we think of these classic titles of mindless, dumb fun, and for the most part, they once again succeeded. Starting with wild shootouts that will have you switching weapons left and right to mow down all the enemies in your path, each weapon being distinctly different, yet all of them are equally devastating. The revolver might not seem like much, but once you activate its alternate firing mode, you're now locked onto enemies, and most will die by one sequence. Every weapon has one of these modes, even the grenades. Throw a grenade, and if it hits an enemy, it explodes. Otherwise, you can collect it again, or you can use the alternate firing mode and light the grenade, and it'll explode no matter what. All in all, you have the options and arsenal to complete every mission however you choose, just not stealthy, because that's not this kind of game. Though this game is over-the-top fun, it does have a couple issues, one being frames. Now, I'm never a stickler for frame rates, and you guys know that. But when it comes to games like this and frames drop, it can really mess with your flow, which is important, and the frames tend to drop very often. Now, not anything overwhelming, but enough, as I said, to mess with the flow of gunning goons. The next one's kinda odd. I encountered this at specific locations and levels. You'll be firing at a group of enemies, and suddenly your character does a complete 180-degree turn, and now you're being lit up by those you were once shooting. These two bugs do become drastically irritating, but it wasn't enough to stop me from playing, seeing as overall the gameplay was wildly entertaining. As for the design, Ion Fury takes a win. From the style of the enemies to the overall sound, this game hits the hammer on the nail with recreating these classic designs. Graphically, Ion Fury might not come off as good looking, but the point was to bring something to the people who loved and grew up on this style of gaming, something they could enjoy once more with today's operating systems. So in my opinion, these graphics were nothing short of damn fine. From dead bodies turning to whatever direction I was looking, to the 2D enemies, this game was a visual treat for the fans. Voice acting was as cheeseball as an old 80s horror film. This game is littered with little nods to our culture, from Shelly calling her shotgun a boomstick to her saying no more arigato, Mr. Roboto. If you can't enjoy a game with this type of writing, are you even fun? One thing I can't forget is the retro soundtrack. In every old school shooter I've played, the music has always defined the tone. If it were Doom, it was guitars blaring to the sounds of demons being massacred. In Ion Fury, it's no different. Retro sounds with a cyberpunk vibe, always upbeat as if my character needed to hurry up, and it was true. But here are some clips of the overall design for Ion Fury.
This is my boomstick. Roboto. Where does he get these wonderful toys?
Ion Fury is a tribute to all that has come before it, and this isn't a surprise seeing 3D Realms' track record. The game is an absolute blast, but it can be battened down by the frame issues as well as the 180-degree turning bug. As for the design, it was special to me. I grew up on games like Wolfenstien and Shadow Warrior, so it's nice to come back to the genre with a fresh take. Ion Fury sells for $25 and it's worth $20. It was a phenomenal game and experience, one I hope to have again in the near future. That's all, folks. If you enjoyed this, why not subscribe? If it wasn't up to par, hit that thumbs down. Till next time, fellas.